So if abundance is something so good for us, why would you say that there are not many people living in abundance nowadays?
Living in abundance?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you say that the material world has become a destructive force to the extent that if we attach abundance to that which we have versus who we are, I think we develop more of a sense of lack. And my feeling is that the world around us defines abundance as what we have, or what my neighbor has, or what the world says I need to have in order to be successful, look successful, or have self-worth, because I have these things, or I have money. First, I think there's a healing that we, in our inner healing and our inner sight, I think we first come to understand that, I guess it's understanding the illusion, and then at the same time honoring the beauty and the embodiment of the manifestation of health and wealth and goodwill as a beautiful, fortunate opportunity to enjoy our life.
So how would you say tarot cards or the different kinds of archetypes that we have around can help us experience abundance?
I think people need mirrors. We learn from one another. We learn from stories. We learn when we go to a museum and walk through a beautiful room full of paintings that somebody has taken the time to create an image that actually moves us. And it moves us in a direction, depending upon how we look at it and who the person is. Something moves us. Something transforms us. Pictures allow us to see ourselves, whether we like the picture or we don't like the picture, or there's something in it that gives us a mirror of, again, something that lives within us. I think the tarot is that way. It's sort of like a little museum of sorts. You know, it's a school. It's its own little teaching. It's a tremendous body of wisdom that has manifested in picture form over centuries. And this is what we, are able to glean certain, as I say, as we're talking about archetypes and pictures of ourselves, the more we learn about our inner life, the more abundant we can become.
Do you think there's a practical route for us to experience abundance?
A practical route. I like the word practical a lot, so I appreciate the question. I think a lot of people forget to take the practical route or route. The practical route to abundance, I would say, is seeing everything that you do every day as a gift. And that would be gardening or washing your dishes, praying, working with your clients. It's all part of the daily work and gift of being embodied and enjoying the virtues of life on earth. So I feel that that's a very important word in my vocabulary, is making it practical and not ineffable or untouchable. And so on a practical level, the route to abundance would be living your life as if every moment is a gift, no matter what you're doing.
So do you think that abundance is something that we can measure? How can we measure it?
I think that's a really good question. It's a provocative question. I think abundance is an energy, And can we measure energy? It seems like it's infinite in its potential and so immeasurable.
Can we measure it in our lives?
I think that's personal for every person. Some people would be a millionaire or a multimillionaire and not feel abundant. And then there would be the person who may live in India or a third world country with a very little money, but may feel like the most abundant person on earth. So I think it depends on a person's upbringing, personal choice. It's not always a choice, I don't think. Sometimes it's an energy. So, yeah, I think people measure abundance differently. Some people, of course, we all know, some people measure abundance by how much money you have. But those of us who see through this illusion, we understand that money cannot buy happiness. It never has. It never will. But yet, money is also a gift. Recently saw an interview with Oprah Winfrey and J.K. Rowling, from the woman who wrote the Harry Potter books. 2 billionaire women who are billionaires, talking about what abundance means to them. It was a very interesting interview. And J.K. Rowling, who now is, a billionaire, started out in poverty, still worries about money, and said very, very clearly, for anyone who thinks money solves your problems, it frees you. It can free you. So abundance and money can mean freedom to make choices that perhaps you can't make if you don't have the money on a mundane level. But on the other hand, if we're speaking of inner work, inner healing, and inner sight, then again, abundance is going to mean something different to each person. I think it's part of the individual soul work of every human being to work with the issue of abundance as part of their whole karmic package.
Mm-hmm. Does karma play a role in archetypes?
There are archetypes, I think, that represent different karmic conditions that we may be journeying through at different times in our life. So there may be a particular archetype that we're drawn to or that we need to embody as a means of a karmic condition that we're working through.